Good morning. Good morning. Welcome. This is the Patriot Radio News Hour. Joe is in Texas doing some Texas crypto coin stuff. It's interesting when Joe's not here because our main office is in Arizona, so I don't do a lot with the main office just because they're there and I'm here, and Joe does a lot of the price changing and securing of the specials. And when I got stuff here in Colorado, I call him and kind of tell him what I got going on here, and then we run whatever's we got in Colorado. But essentially, I'm not in the nerve center. I'm not in the control center. So I kind of just hang out here, and when I do whatever I can to make the shows better and get the metals moved and sold to our Colorado customers. But it's just interesting, because I know what Joe does. I know how busy Joe can be, and I know kind of what's happening. Joe and I we have a morning phone call usually before we go on the air. Sometimes our morning phone call goes right up to the moment we're getting on the air, and we're always trying to figure out the what's going on, what metals are available for us, what choices to make, what do we think. Sometimes we have a couple of choices. We don't want to put like 15 things on the air because we have options, and then other times we just see what's in the vault to see what if there's anything substantial to put on the air, and so so for me it's it's not that I can't handle it, but it's like it's just not my Joe is the decision maker when it comes to mostly what we do when we go on the air. But I've got some stuff today that's going to be fantastic that I think you guys are going to want to buy. So get the phone number up and running, 800-951-0592 if you're wanting to move into some gold and silver. Looking at spot, which is in the overnight, silver and gold was down. We got to this morning just before I got in to the radio station. Started moving down some more. Got down not quite $5 down on silver, but then it's just before I got in the air, starting to climb back up. Silver is down at the moment $3.50. It's just hovering below $89. So silver's still really holding that at or near $90, even with these big sell-offs. Because what happened yesterday is we had a big sell-off in the morning, and then it climbed back up over $90. Today we may have the same thing. As it sold off pretty heavy. We're sitting at $1 under that 90, but it's holding steady. We might be holding a position here going into next week where we see gold and silver setting new floors, because gold did it's down about $28, so it did dip just a little bit below that 4,600. So it looks like this $90 silver and this $4,600 gold is kind of a zone that we may be in. Silver just been skyrocketing the last bunch of weeks. I mean, it hit 70 and then by the time it climbed through this, because it held 70 for a few days, 72. It kind of touched 80 and came back. But then when it climbed back towards 80 and then it sprinted to 90 this last week, it's quite a thing to watch. All you guys out there that are buyers and customers of Patriot Trading Group, and pretty much anybody that's into gold and silver has been watching this rapid rise in the price. I'm going to talk today about things I've mentioned on the show when I'm talking to Joe. I'm gonna get. I think I got a clip I can play. I'm gonna play a guy that I was watching. I watch. What I try to do is not watch one guy too much. I like to watch a bunch of guys, and you can kind of start coming up with good information, good observations besides your own that you might start to lean towards. If many guys from different sources are coming up with some similar information, then it could either be you're being tricked by the information as a whole, or if I'm doing it the way that I think that I'm doing it, it's you start to find a thread that seems to have a lot of weight to it, and I'll be talking about that. I think that, and after doing some more study on it, I've been saying that I think asset prices are just going to blow up and continue blowing up. I said there's going to be a lot of money printing and a lot of money that's going to be flowing around. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that in the next segment. We're going to, I got a clip that I'm going to try to load up here and get ready. Just so you don't have to hear just me saying it. But I'm going to throw some numbers out. I'm going to have you hear this this clip. The gentleman is going to speak the same kind of things that I've been talking about, which is before there's a crash, there's always a big heat up in the markets. Before the housing crash, mortgage-backed securities were being pumped in at record levels at light speed. And then those that started to figure it out started selling them at light speeds as fast as they could. If you ever seen a movie called Margin Call, it's about one firm figuring out that they're sitting on so much toxic mortgage-backed security debt. And they figured out how bad it was. And the entire corporation, they don't tell you who the corporation is. You're supposed to kind of imagine that for yourself. The movie shows it's about one night. The guy, it's quitting time on a Thursday. This guy figures it out. They're actually firing a bunch of their people in the movie. And in that night, they call all their head CEOs and the head CEOs from outside of the company. They have a meeting, and then they flush all the debt out, right? Well, before that happens, everyone's buying, and driving the asset prices up. I'm going to talk about that when we get back. Welcome back. The Patriot Radio News Hour. The number to call to buy your gold and silver, 800-951-0592. I'm gonna put the gold and silver specials out there. There's a little bit to pick from. I have a little bit left over from yesterday. I'm going to put that out there. There's only a few of these items, and then I'm going to tell you the other items I have. We had some proof gold yesterday. Some of it sold, and what didn't sell, I'm going to put that out there. I was talking to Arlene this morning, so she was wondering if we're going to put it out there. I am going to put those proof gold we still have, which is we have 1 ounce proof gold eagles. There's only 2 of these. On these items, you have to pay up front, and it's a locked in. We have these metals, but the shipping is going to take 3 to 5 weeks. So you're going to be on a wait, and we need the money up front to secure the ship, to have it shipped. The 2 1 ounce gold proofs are $48.50 each. There's only 2. And we have one that is a 1 ounce proof gold eagle and a half ounce proof gold eagle. Same price, $48.50, but for the extra half ounce, it's going to be $72.75 for that. We only have one of those. The guy that got the proof set, congratulations on that. I think if you can get cheap proof gold eagles, it's essentially a work of art. It's pretty nice. But what we have today. We have some fractional gold, pre-33 U.S., the actual money we used to spend before gold was made illegal. We have $10 liberties and $5 liberties. The $10 liberties are $2,300 each. We have 50 of those. First come, first serve on those. An outstanding price, as I'll check the gold prices. Gold is still, like I said, a little bit. It's down about $28. It's $4,590. Great price. It's never a better time. And after you hear what I think is going to happen with markets, if you and I'm going to have I'm gonna have a clip that's gonna basically say a lot of the same things, but it's good to hear that there's I'm not the only one out there that's thinking that the market's not going to crash immediately, and the markets are gonna fall. There's going to be more to it, right? So gold and silver has had this rapid rise in price, and a lot of people are sitting around like, I don't think this is a good idea. And I'm looking at 2011 and look how things can just go down. There might be a gold and silver crash in price at some point, but it's going to get a lot higher before it does that. It's going to get a lot higher. This is a great time to be buying. You are not too late. The quote unquote too late. It's never too late to buy gold and silver, but it is still a great time to get in. This thing is just getting started. The $5 Liberties are half the price of the 10s. They're $1,150 for the $5 Liberties. I have only 20 of those. So if you want that fractional quarter-ounce piece, and that's more within your budget, there is less of those. 20 $5 Liberties, they are $1,150 each, and I have 50 of the 10s, $2,300. I do have Silver Eagles. I have 2 sealed cases of Silver Eagles. Best price on the market. You can go scour, and here's the thing, is the big internet companies, they don't even have any. And they're catering to bigger customers, and they're not selling. They've just shut down their smaller orders. I think they've done this before I got into gold and silver. When gold and silver was on their run, 2008, 9, 10, 11, they would make the minimum orders. APMEX is a big one. A lot of guys order APMEX. A lot of times when we buy gold and silver, sometimes our customers that started with APMEX, they'll bring in their tubes of APMEX stuff they bought, or coins with the flips that have the sticker on it. APMEX isn't even taking your orders unless you minimally have $10,000. If you don't put $10,000 in, they won't take your order. They're catering to big, huge customers that have big, huge pockets only. Joe and I, we cater to the big customers, but we cater to the smaller customers. We really, really, really like to get the everyday guy into this thing. And the way we look at it is a lot of average everyday guys become wealthier as time goes on. I mean, if you're buying gold and silver, you got something going on upstairs. And we believe as you grow your financial situation, you're going to grow as a customer with us. So we like to take care of the smaller ones. We don't abandon you like APMEX, who says, okay, well, $10,000. If you're not going to order $10,000, we don't want to waste time with you. I like the way we do it. I like that I can sell a roll of dimes, and I can sell a single 1-ounce Silver Eagle to you. I like the ability to do that. But these cases, these are sealed cases. Sealed cases hold a higher premium. And I got these cheaper than anybody that's selling rolls of Silver Eagles. Or the case, there's 2 of them. They're sealed. $49,875. That's less than $2,000 a roll. Remember, we've been, when we got above $90, we were selling Silver Eagles for over $2,000 a roll. So I got these for under. I can sell individual rolls, but they will be the same price, $1,995 for a roll of Silver Eagles individually. So there you go. You call 800-951-0592. That number again is 800-951-0592. I'll just run through it real quick so you can hear if someone's coming in late. We have a couple of proofs from yesterday left over. We have the 1-ounce gold proofs for $48.50. 2 of those. You have to pay up front. Those are secured in a deal that we have that you have to pay up front, and the shipment's going to be 3 to 5 weeks. We have one proof set that has the full ounce and the half ounce proof gold eagles in it. That's going to be the same price per ounce. It's $7,275 for that one. There's only one of those. So that's what's left over from yesterday. Just jump on those if you want. We have $10 Liberties for $2,300, 50 of them. We have $25 Liberties for $1,150. And we have the sealed cases of Silver Eagles, $49,875. That comes out to $1,995 a roll. And we have single rolls available for $1,995. 800-951-0592. Okay, I got a clip here. But before I play the clip, and I like this because I think I'll play the clip first, and then I'll talk about it, because what I like is I fully believe that the amount of money spent. So last year, the big beautiful bill, and people kind of don't either understand, or when they understand, sometimes you'll lose the facts. Sometimes, that happens to me a lot when I was listening to the radio for information. Sometimes you hear this really good information, and then some of it sticks and you remember it. And other stuff you need to hear it a few times. But when the United States government passes a budget, and usually inside that budget they're saying this money's going here and this money's going here, defense is getting this and Social Security, and they have they show you where this proposed budget, the money is going. Once they pass the budget, and usually by the power of the president, the money then just gets thrown wherever they want. So you might have said, hey, we have this really important thing to build highways across the country. Once the budget is passed, you could take all that money and give it to the military to go blow something up, right? And so the one thing, and Trump bragged about it, loud and proud, is like, this is the biggest budget ever. This is the biggest ever. He wants the biggest. He always wants to be the biggest and the best. And yeah, he passed the biggest budget ever, the big, beautiful bill. Well, as we're going to hear in this clip, and it's more than just the big, beautiful bill, but it's in that. It's also in the tax cuts. The tax cuts have an immediate impact upon very big, wealthy interest businesses and how they're going to affect the markets. And there's going to be, because of the tax cuts and the big, beautiful bill, $4.7 trillion injected into just the American market. So, Jack, let's play this clip, and I'll cover a little more on the other side of it. This guy is Felix. Felix, he's an interesting guy. I know a lot of people don't know the name Sam Rockwell. In my mind, he looks like Sam Rockwell. If Sam Rockwell was playing this guy, it would be a perfect movie. But he also sounds like Christopher Walken if he had an accent. Christopher Walken with a weird accent, but fun guy to watch and listen to. Very, very smart guy. Jack, go ahead and play it, and I might have you pause it a few times, but we're going to play a few minutes of this. Go ahead. We may have to play some of this on the other side of the next segment. Go ahead, Jack.
I warned about the 2022 inflation spike when everybody said it was transitory. This is not political. I don't care if you love Trump or hate him. What I care about is what happens when 4.7 trillion hits the market, because history shows us exactly what comes next. And if you're not positioned, you watch from the sidelines while others multiply their wealth. So let's break this down step by step. Here's what most people miss. Trump's 2025 tax cuts, the big, beautiful bill, and the Jobs Act 2.0 wasn't just about lower interest rates, it's about timing. The bill passed in March 2025, but the impact hits in 3 waves. Wave number 1 is April to June 2026. Tax refund season. They're pulling it forward this year. It's going to start at the end of February. Wave number 2, July to September 2026. Corporate repatriations. I'll break that down for you. And then wave number 3 is the 4th quarter of this year. And that's all about bonus depreciation and capital expenditure. Let me explain why this matters. According to the Congressional Budget Office and Treasury estimates, you, the individual, will get $1.2 trillion in tax refunds, $8,500 per household. The corporations will get $2.1 trillion in corporate cash repatriation from overseas and $1.4 trillion in accelerated depreciation in business investments. The total flowing into the economy is a whopping, staggering, mind-boggling $4.7 trillion in just 9 months.
Okay, so in 3 different waves, and he's going to talk about how tax returns, you know how sometimes tax returns don't show up right away? Well, they're going to show up earlier this year. The earlier you get your taxes done, the quicker they're going to send it. $1.2 trillion is being, it's really, in my mind, the way this is set up, this is a stimulus check without it being a stimulus check. People are going to get, I think a lot of people are going to get more in tax returns than taxes they paid in a higher volume than ever before. Corporate repatriation, what they did is Trump is a deregulator, right? They're making it so that money that's overseas is going to be coming in at a rate that $2.1 trillion is coming in here very quickly to be spent. And we're going to talk. Old Felix here is going to be talking about where that money is going. This is a hidden inflationary bombshell that's going to hit. Business investment's going to talk about how industry and what they're going to do, and it's going to make the prices of copper and lumber and other industries go berserk in their pricing, and that means gold and silver. When we get back, he's going to talk about how much this money injection in comparison to the 2008 housing crash and the doubling of money during COVID. Patriot Radio News Hour, 800-951-0592. I'll cover some of those gold and silver specials here soon enough. Got Felix. We're doing a clip. This is Felix, and he's talking about $4.7 trillion is going to be injected into this economy in the next starting in late February for the next 9 months. Jack, go ahead. And he's going to talk about the size. Numbers are fickle things. Now, he's going to tell you here in a moment that this amount of money is double the COVID stimulus package. But you got to remember, we doubled the money supply during COVID. And they kind of do this when a new president comes in. You have the big emergency happening on a Republican, and then you pump a bunch of money in of it, because it's always economics. And then the Democrat gets in, and then they pump some more money in, and that way both sides can blame each other for it. Trump said that Biden was the one that caused all the inflation. Trump is the one that started all the money printing. And presidents don't make these decisions, but whoever's in charge, that's who gets the blame. So this isn't exactly double the COVID spending overall, but it's double. This is double the original first spending package that was put into place. Jack, go ahead and play it as we hear about all of this money.
That is 3 times the size of the 2008 bank bailout. Some of my buddies lost their jobs. Nobody sees any sympathy for the Lehman Brothers bankers. I don't know why. They needed, new condos and new cars and a second Ferrari and holidays in the Bahamas. People had no sympathy. Now, the COVID package was half the size of this. This is literally 20% of the U.S. economy hitting the market in just 9 months. We've seen this before, just not at quite this scale. The 2017 tax cuts. What happened? What happened to the market? I tell you what happened. The S&P rallied by 28% in the next 18 months. But that was only $1.5 trillion. So for $1.5 trillion, you get 28% up. This is 3 times larger. The Bush tax cuts. That was when small caps particularly benefited from this. Small caps went up 47%. Real estate investment trusts, they went up 38%. If we go back a little further to 1981, the Reagan tax cuts, the tax cuts all of the tax cuts are jealous of. Back then, it was the Dow Jones Index. It went up a whopping 135% over the next 5 years. But here's the difference, the critical difference. In 2026, we have record low unemployment. We have a Fed that's already cutting rates. We have pent-up consumer demand. This isn't a recovery. It's rocket fuel in an already pretty hot economy. So why will most investors miss this? Most investors are conditioned to react, not anticipate.
Pass through this.
CNBC
Jack,
is talking about
his little ad
tax
thing going
refund
on.
rally. The easy money is already made. 1.7 trillion doesn't hit all at once. It flows in 5 distinct waves, and each wave creates different opportunities. You miss one, you leave money on the table. So let's break them down.
5 waves that this money is coming in this year.
You might want to take screenshots so you get the most out of this. Wave 1. This is where we are right now. The bill is low, but the money hasn't moved yet. Smart institutional investors are looking to front run the refund season. So what are we looking at? We're looking at defensive sectors starting to weaken. What are defensive sectors? It's the utilities, it's the consumer staples. The growth stocks and the small caps begin to outperform, and the volatility, the VIX, the fear, it drops as uncertainty clears. The skies are blue, right? So where do we go right here? And I'm not telling you what to buy, by the way. This isn't financial advice. I'm just giving you my thoughts, my research. You have to make your own decision or talk to your own financial advisor about it, or, a golden retriever who's well trained. That always helps. But we're looking at...
You know what, Jack? We can pause it here. He's going to start talking about different waves. The anticipation phase is where we're in. And then the tax return phase is coming in starting in late February. And then he believes that we're going to see a market stress in 2027. I kind of see it similarly. I could see this being pushed deep into 2027. But what he's showing and what I've observed myself is you're going to see such a swell of, and I call it a sugar high. It's a cocaine high. And it's going to push the prices of everything up. If you're a stock market guy, you're probably going to get pretty happy about this. You're going to buy more stocks. And he talks about stocks. And with this Felix guy, he's really well grounded because he talks about where he would put the money, and he likes stocks. In fact, I don't think there's anything this guy doesn't like. He just likes opportunity. But he talks about gold and silver. He says, you know what? I know everyone's saying gold and silver is high, and don't buy it at the highs. He says it's got a long way to go. He says from his observation, his opinion, silver and gold's got a long way to go. And later in the year, he talks about how industry is going to be getting a huge injection of cash as well. And he says even though gold is an economic metal, it's going to push all of them. He said copper, silver, gold. It's just going to keep on blasting upwards. I'm not a big one for paper assets because there's a lot of hidden ways to lose money in paper assets. You got the fees, you got penalties, and you got taxes. And I really like the way gold and silver handles all those situations. It's just a lot lighter. You pay a premium to get it on the front end, and then it's yours. And however you decide to sell it, that's the other responsibility. How you decide to sell it to get the best price you can get, that's up to you. We buy it. We buy it here as well, so we take care of our customers on the front side or the back side. But to me, the thing that you really got to think about if you're listening to the overall economic picture, and you got me and Felix here saying we're going to have a burn up in assets. I mean, there's going to be inflation. There's going to be inflation. War is a way to soften the inflation. It's like taking a bunch of money and throwing it down a black hole. I mean, as an example, $1.2 trillion in tax returns. Well, essentially where all the tax money goes is down a black hole. Because in the United States and any central bank country, taxes are placed on the citizens. And the taxes usually match in some way or another the amount of interest that's paid on the debt. The central bank then prints all the money the government wants at interest to fund all of the projects. So the big beautiful bill and the tax return, the tax reductions, and all the stuff they passed in 2025, that's going to cause this huge swell of almost $5 trillion into the markets. That's all printed up and sent into the markets. So tax returns, instead of cooling the inflation by throwing it down a hole to pay the interest on the debt, they're going to give it back to you guys. What do you think that's going to do when the average American gets their hands on several hundreds or thousands of dollars extra? Pay debt, buy a car, do a vacation, inflation. Patriot Radio News Hour, gold and silver. And as we're getting ready to hit the break there will be a market crash. There is definitely a setup happening. I imagine in my mind, late 2027, maybe mid, or 2028. And when that happens, all asset prices, in my imagination, will be a lot like, maybe it'll be a slower version of the COVID crash. The COVID crash essentially was 6 weeks, 33% of the market just gone. I think when this one happens, and I think it will start to see, and later in this piece, this guy Felix talks about how he believes we'll see rate increases as early as 2027. It depends on how fast that inflation comes in the 9 months of $5 trillion being injected. If the inflation starts, I think the inflation, it takes a little while before another large amount of money is going to affect the inflation. So I don't think we see the inflation until sometime, at least early 2027 would be the earliest, but I would say a few months in or even halfway into 2027, you'll start to see this inflation coming in. And then whoever Trump's new Fed chief is probably going to stand up and is like, you know what, Trump, we're raising the rates and we don't care what you want. It'll be a game and Trump will be yelling and getting angry and I'm going to fire this Fed chief and you'll have all that going on in 2027 and rates will probably have to climb. Well, after this injection, raising the rates the next time is always going to create a much market stress. So I guess this time frame does make sense because, okay, so you spend the money in 26, the inflation starts to come in 27, you raise the rates in 27, and then the higher rates start to destroy the markets in 2028. Everyone starts to, a larger percentage of the population, not just Democrats, will start blaming Trump for everything, even though it won't be his fault. It wasn't his fault for anything good or bad that goes on. But if there's a huge market stress and we start to see markets falling apart in 2028 in an election year, the media will try to portray him, and even some MAGA guys. There are going to be a lot of people walking from him. He's so terrible. We figured out that Trump is no good. Just in time for the next new hope to be elected in 2028, who will then come in and exact a whole lot of punishment to the American citizen, as much as any other president. But you gotta find that great new hope, right? Hope and change. What happened when Bush had all that spending and stimulus checks and the war going on and weapons of mass destruction? And what happened is you got hope and change. A whole bunch of stimulus money and quantitative easing, and you had all this money that was flooding. Because in 2008 we were 2007, 2008. The housing crash was fully on board, and Bush started spending all this money. Well, then here comes hope and change. Obama, he comes in, spends a whole bunch more money on as soon as he gets it in 2009, and then we had that stagnant market that went for a while. The stagnant market where gold and silver, after it came down in 2011, just kind of sat there for a while, right? Yeah, but there was a massive uptick in gold and silver and other asset prices for that matter, because by 2011 the lows were in, and then the market started going up, but it was stagnant for everything else. We're heading for that same thing. It sure looks like the timing is all set up so that we can blame the politicians or blame foreign nations or point fingers here and there, but we're not going to be putting the blame at the central bankers who created this, create the policy, control the money supply in which direction it goes. Instead, we might be, blaming the Iran war if that's where we're at, right? Or whatever war is happening at the time. We'll be blaming that for the market stress of 27 and 28. But now what we're going to see, I think this year, asset prices going berserk, and where you want to be positioned when there is a crash, which say in a year and a half, 2 years, you want to be in the assets that take the lightest hit. I mean, gold and silver went down substantially in 2020 when COVID hit. But the thing that happened was, and I was on the air and I was reporting this, is like, look, gold is down 1% today. And the market is down 4% today. And then the next day, gold is down 0.5% today. The market is down 3% today. And that went on for 6 weeks. And the volatility, stock market down 2,900 points. Then the market would be up 2,000 points. And then the next day it'd be down 1,000 points, these huge moves. But when we got kind of to the bottom of it, which was still in 2020, and then there was a bounce, the markets did come back. Well, gold suffered less in the losses. It never really lost a whole lot overall. And then as 2020 kept going, the markets came back, but gold went from $1,200, $1,300 where it started all of that, and it went to $2,000 by August, which is almost 50%. It was a little less than 40%, and so that's what's going to happen. Gold's going to go up. The market's going to go up. I think crypto's going to go up. I think property is going to go up the least, but I think you're going to see property prices. We got a glut here. It's going to be, I think housing sales, you got a year now. I think if you want to sell or buy property, 2026 is your year. But if you ask me, if silver's going to bolt up to $200 or $300 an ounce, and maybe most of that ground gaining is this year, give us a call. I'm going to do the specials on the final segment coming up. Don't need me to tell you the specials. You can call 800-951-0592. I'll put them on anyways. Get those phones ringing. There's a lot of room to run with gold and silver, and you might want to park some of that money in. If you're waiting for tax returns, figure out how to get it in as quick as you can. Get those taxes done quick. We'll be right back. 800-951-0592. The silver and gold specials. I haven't gotten any feedback from the Arizona office, so I'm guessing. I'm just going to guess that these are a lot of this is still available. Let's get it out there. We do have from yesterday. We still have a couple of those proof gold eagles. We have the 1 ounce gold proof eagles that are $48.50. There's 2 of those. And we have a proof eagle gold eagle set. It has the half ounce and the full 1 ounce. That's $72.75. There's only 1 of those. First come, first serve. You have to buy these up front. We need the money immediately, and then the shipping is going to be 3 to 5 weeks, so you have to wait on this. But an excellent product for sure. We do have $10 liberties that are $2,300 each, an outstanding price. That price is at spot. Let's just see what's been going on the last bit of time here as I've been on the air here, checking the gold to silver prices currently. We have gold at $4,590. So we're just you're getting these $10 liberties at spot. This is fractional gold that you're buying at spot. We also have $5 liberties at spot as well. $1,150 for a 1/4 ounce old gold piece. That's at spot. Usually the 5s, we have a higher price. Usually the 10s are a little higher. There's only 20 of the $5 liberties. So if you can afford the smaller gold piece, there's going to be less of those. Like I said, I'm not in Arizona. I don't have access immediately to what's going on there. So you may want to get on the phones and check if you're ready to buy. 800-951-0592. We do have 2 cases of sealed silver eagles. Many of the internet sites don't have any silver eagles at all to sell. They're you look on their sites and it says out of stock, out of stock, out of stock. So anything that pops up, if you've got money ready to deploy, this would be a good way to go. $49,875 for sealed cases. We do have single rolls of silver eagles, and those are $1,995. That's the same price as the sealed case. The sealed case is that's just an outstanding price right now with what's going on. I don't know the full amount of single rolls we have. I'm sure we have a decent supply of those. But call 800-951-0592. That number again is 800-951-0592. And 2026, more than the next coming 2 years, is the time that you want to be in assets. You don't want to be holding cash the most. I'm not a big opponent of cash, and I'm not really a big opponent of the dollar. I just know that the Federal Reserve is the one creating the dollars, the Federal Reserve note. I don't like the Federal Reserve note, but there are times that having cash and having it ready to deploy is very valuable. I personally think everybody should have a nice little bankroll of cash you should have sitting there so that when you see a deal, you can immediately grab it. there's nothing like seeing a really good deal and not having any ability to grab it. This year, as this money is going to be deployed into the American financial system, you want to be ready to deploy it into assets. You want it in assets. When there's going to be a sell-off here in a year and a half, 2 years, that's when you're going to want to maybe do some profit taking and sell some stuff off. But to me, 2026 is going to be a huge buy year to get yourself out of the cash and into assets that are going to explode, just literally explode. We'll see you on Monday, guys. We'll see you.